What's going on, boys and girls? We're going to do another one of the kale recipes. I've done a kale recipe before, but the last time I did one, the kale was so doggone good. And the only difference is that I had put a little bit of sun-dried tomatoes in it. So those sun-dried tomatoes made a big difference, and I wanted to share it with you. I wish I had shared the recipe with you the day that I made it. So I'm going to try to reproduce it today. If you've seen some of my kale recipes in the past, this one is almost as similar as those, but with a little bit of a difference. So follow me along. Alrighty, all of this stuff you should be able to find at your local grocery store. We got a bag of kale. It's just a 16-ounce bag of kale. We've got a whole medium onion. We've got some Italian mix, giardiniera, however you say that. We got some marinated artichoke hearts. We got some minced garlic. Those are our veggies right there. We also have some pepper sauce, and not necessarily the pepper sauce. We want to use the peppers that are actually in there. Got a little bit of coconut oil that we're going to use to saute our greens and our onions in. We got some of the Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. Got a little bit of the cayenne pepper, some dill weed, a little bit of mustard, ground mustard. Got some apple cider vinegar, and we've got a little bit of honey. And heck, I forgot the main thing I was telling you about, the sun-dried tomatoes. These right here. And like I said, I didn't use many of them out of that jar right there. This is just a 16-ounce jar, but that's the main thing. That's the main reason I wanted to make the doggone video. So we can't forget the sun-dried tomatoes. So the first thing we're going to do is start melting about 2 tablespoons of the coconut oil in a large saucepan or a large stock pot here on medium heat. We're going to cut some onions, just a rough cut of onions right here. And as soon as the oil is heated up enough, we're going to add the onions to the oil. Okay, let it heat up, and then we'll add our onions to it here. Get it all off here. I'm using my cell phone. Cell phones are got to be the best, guys. You know, you just hold it in your hand, and most of the stuff you can do it while you hold it in your hand. We're going to saute these until they are nice and glistening. Should take about maybe 3 to 5 minutes. While those are sauteing, go ahead and add you a heaping tablespoonful of minced garlic. If you don't like garlic that much, don't add it, but it really does contribute to the recipe, guys. Alrighty, when they start changing color, like they start getting translucent, kind of glistening like this, is when we can start to add our other ingredient. First, we're going to add our marinated artichoke hearts. And sometimes I get this, it has the palm in it as well. Just put the whole jar in there, and that's got some you know, it's got some artichokes, some water, sunflower oil, and distilled vinegar. And you just kind of want to mix that around and heat it up a little bit. Next, we want to add some giardiniera, however you say that. Just put the whole jar in there, guys. All of that as well. I mean, this is almost like a kale soup, but it comes out delicious every time, and we're going to bring that up to a boil. Now we're going to add 3 or 2 heaping tablespoonfuls of our sun-dried tomatoes. Again, just bring it all up to a boil here. Okay, now as far as the hot pepper sauce, you know, the peppers, the sauce is good, but I like the peppers, so I add about 10 of those peppers in there. Now this is going to be a little bit on the spicy side, so if you can't really eat spicy foods, this is probably one of those ones you want to stay away from. But now, I'm not a super spicy food eater, and it's tolerable to me. And I really am not a really spicy food eater. Alrighty, it's come up to a boil here, so we're going to add our spices, our dill weed, our cayenne pepper, and our mustard. That is about 1 heaping tablespoonful of the dill weed, about 2 teaspoons of the Tony Chachere's, and about 2 teaspoons of the mustard, and maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon of the cayenne pepper. And we're just going to stir that in. And really, as far as adding a little bit more vinegar, you can or you can't, because both of those Gardeniera and the artichokes, they had vinegar in them. Alrighty, now we're just going to dump our greens in here, and I don't want to make a mistake, so I'm not going to dump them like that. We're just going to put a little bit in there at a time. We're not going to dump it. And again, that looks like a lot, but these things will cook down, and it will fit in this pot perfectly. Again, some folks don't like kale, but kale is a lot more sweeter than collard greens are, and they're a lot easier to taste. They don't have that bitter taste, so you don't have to sweeten them up that much. Now, if you wanted to use a different type of oil, like if you wanted to use bacon grease, I suggest that you do. I'm just not using it right now, but bacon grease makes it come out just as good, guys. Now we're gonna reduce the temperature and let that boil down for about 30 minutes or so. We'll come back and check it in 15. Alrighty, it's been about 15 minutes here, and what we're gonna do is gonna adjust the greens. Now, if it looks like too much of the fluid has evaporated from it, you may have to add a little bit more, either some water or some chicken broth, because you don't want this to dry out too much. But see what we started out with, and now what it's down to. So, we got some fluid in there, but we want to add a little bit more. Okay, I added a little bit of vegetable broth to it. Now is your time where you can add some, go ahead and put your honey in it. Now, you don't have to put a lot of honey in there, guys. About 2 tablespoons is what you want. Now, before you get on me about putting the honey in there, you don't have to add the honey in there. It still tastes good without it. And again, I say 2 tablespoons, that's probably only about 1.5 or so. And you're gonna mix that in real thoroughly and let it cook for about another 15 minutes or so. And guys, you'll be done. It is delicious. It is nutritious. And again, it's not for everybody. Some people don't like kale. They can't fathom having kale. But those sun-dried tomatoes really give it this really awesome flavor. And it's good the next day when you got to go poop. So guys, that's pretty much it right there. I may show you one more view of it in 15 minutes. All right, let's check the greens. Oh yeah, they smell good. That's the color that you want, guys. Kind of a dark green all throughout. They are done. We're going to turn off our heat here. And this is what you want. All the lumps and bumps and everything. This should taste really good. All right, we're going to give them a little taste. Here we go. Perfect. This is about how they cooked last time. They got a little kick to them, guys. Just a little. I can taste that vinegar. I can taste that honey. I can taste those doggone tomatoes. Those sun-dried tomatoes. That's what gives it the flair. And you talk about some good eating, guys. Even if you don't like kale, you should try some of this kale. Again, if you can't get past the taste of it, that's just more for me. More for me. Just like chitlins. I like chitlins. That's more for me. If you don't like them, give them to me. Thank you, guys. Again, we're gonna have a poopalicious time tomorrow with these kale.